Hello, everybody. Welcome again to my YouTube channel on Douglas Speaks His Truth. Um, I apologize for my last video. I was trying something new and I had a few seconds of silence in there. But I want to talk about Jasmine Crockett and James Talarico. The Democratic primary is March 3rd, 2026. Um, and a new poll that came out in the El Paso Times said that Ms. Talarico is leading 47% to Jasmine Crockett 38% with 15% undecided. Now, 15% undecided is a lot. Mr. Talarico believed that Ms. Crockett is unelectable. The thing is, Ms. Crockett has name recognition that James Talarico don't have. Now, they have a debate January 24th in Georgetown, which I'll be watching. I'll do a video highlighting, the what I took from that debate. Um, but let's talk about Ms. Crockett a little bit more because she's getting a lot of publicity about um, she's not electable or um, she can't win Texas and it's Miss Talarico. The problem is every time you try to put somebody Talarico in Texas, they lost. Beto O'Rourke lost. Colin Allred lost. But Miss Crockett is learning that she has no friends in the Democratic Party. Instead of just letting the primary play out and letting the best candidate win, you're doing that. But what I'm amazed mostly is all the negative publicity coming out about Jasmine Crockett. You're not getting no negative publicity about Talarico. Republicans trying to say if she's on the ballot as a gift to them. But in their case, they do not have three decent candidates for their primary. Now I did say that getting elected as a black candidate in Texas statewide is hard. But I will say this: I do think Crockett has the best chance. If anybody gonna win Texas, it's probably gonna be her. Um, she has name recognition. She's a fighter. Now, some Democrats are worried because she has an anti-Trump stance. That's an issue. Well, there's a problem with that. A lot of Texans having an anti-Trump stance. Look at the business owners who had to close businesses. Look at the farmers who had to file for bankruptcy. Look at the state of Texas economy. Look at the Hispanic community and the immigration policies. So before you start saying she has an anti-Trump stance and they voted for Trump in Texas, yeah, that's true. But look at how Texas is changing toward Trump right now itself. Look at that part, but you're not looking at that part. So you can't go. Remember, politics change from this day to the next. It does. Because today it might be this, tomorrow it'll probably be something else. The best thing the Democratic Party do is let this play out in the primary and support whoever wins. But it's like everybody is sitting there like, we're against Jasmine Crockett. Why? Why? Um, it's hard enough running in Texas as a black woman. Hard enough dealing with a political situation where you already have an uphill battle if you're black. And then, for them not to support her the way she supported them, and that's the actually party, the Democratic committee. It's an insult, slap in the face. But a lot of good political candidates are finding out the hard way that you cannot get support from the Democratic Party. Instead of the one thing she did was she built a coalition, so she's not the only one on the ballot, and that coalition helps each other from the bottom up. And it's simple. It's a good idea. It's a great idea. Talarico has it. He's running by himself. Where's this coalition? Because of her, she helped get Democrats on every ballot across the state that the Republican Party has to defend and fight for this year. Something they never had to do in years. They had plenty safe. They ran by themselves unopposed. They did the bare minimum. This time they don't have that option of doing the bare minimum. Everyone has to fight for their spot this year. You have to defend every policy you made and did this year. But it does bring up another question, though. We know that the Republican Party has rampant racism in their party. How many times you turn around, somebody making jokes about being a Nazi, gas chambers, hanging blacks eating bananas. The Democratic Party, we haven't had those, but the way they act with certain candidates, it does make you wonder. Jasmine Crockett has not asked them for money. She's raised her own money. But the thing is, if she win the primary, will you help her? Will you give her money? She probably won't need it, to be honest about it. Now, she's going across Texas. She was in Beaumont this week. And she's going around Texas talking to people and getting out there meeting. And she's going to South Texas and West Texas and talking to them. Now, maybe she can change some minds. But with a 15% undecided, this primary is not over yet. It's not over with yet. You have a lot of black voters in Texas that did not vote, but they might get out there to vote for her. Talarico cannot say the same thing. He cannot pull those black voters. He might not even be able to pull the Hispanic voters. He has no name recognition. And name recognition, whether you like it or not, does mean something in politics. George W. Bush would not have been governor of Texas if he wasn't a Bush, if his father wouldn't have been president. He wouldn't have became president if his father already wasn't president. Liz Cheney would have never been elected to Congress if her father was not Dick Cheney. Um, Como in New York. Cannot remember his first name. But the Como, he would not have been governor of New York if his father wasn't already a Como and was governor of New York. Name recognition matters in politics because name recognition is like you have a good reputation. Well, your father had this good name, then you are the same way. That's just how it is. That's just how it works. Jasmine Crockett has name recognition. Whether you like her or hate her, you know her name. Not just in Texas, across the nation. You know what she stands for. You've seen her in her committees. You know what she will do, that she will get answers and she will try to do what's right. She has a proven history. Talarico, you don't have one yet. I was doing these videos. I'm sitting there like looking at all these articles on Jasmine Crockett. Why isn't she married? She's too progressive. She's too aggressive. Uh, Stephen A. Smith, she should be submissive. Do you tell other political candidates that, or you just tell her because she's a black woman? That's something to ask, and that's something that should be questioned. But I'll tell anybody, even the Republican National Committee, Democrat National Committee, if you're running for office, you have no friends. They trying to see who's the most electable person. And in this case, I can't even say they're giving her a fair shot But I will say this though: every time in Texas you try to run a generic Democrat, they lost. Period. That has not changed, and it's probably not going to change. Maybe you need somebody that will shake it up and make it happen. What do you have to lose? Best thing I say is let the primary play out and see what happens. Okay. Also, if you like this video, hit subscribe and also check out my Substack. It's under my name, Douglas Gregory. I just wrote an article about why Black Americans be involved in transactional politics. Sorry, transactional politics. Um, so, like I say, as always, my email is douglasspeaks@outlook.com. If you respond, I will answer any questions you have. And thank you.